Welcome to the Purpose Party, the podcast that inspires you to reset, renew, and realign. I'm your host, Tanya M. Today, we host the beautiful Ng See Quan of Harlow Studios. We get chatty about her amazing work at the studio. Kate shares some insightful tips on dance as a career for creatives. We get the exclusive on her first and very successful dance production, Wonderland. And we crack up over a few jokes. You don't want to miss this purpose party. Chill the bubbly, call your BFFs, and party with us. Its first ballet class was in Thailand at the age of 3, under the direction of Kunhairi, a former member of the Royal Ballet. Summer placements included Yorkshire Ballet under Marguerite Porter and Dame Ninette de Valois, and Ballet Austin, among others. After moving to America, Kate performed both solo and corps pieces with Kingwood Dance Theatre throughout the southern United States. Her training at the London studio was unfortunately cut short by serious injury, which led to her interest in rehabilitation and subsequent qualification in Pilates, post-injury, pre- and postnatal, as well as general fitness and strength. Kate has taught ballet, contemporary, and jazz since she was 15 and thrives seeing children blossom through the beauty and discipline of dance. Teaching adults, some of whom have never danced before, gives her great satisfaction as people come to experience the freedom of movement, which in turn prompted her to train in pole fitness, for which she is now qualified to teach. Pole classes have blossomed with many women feeling empowered to try this challenging sport. In 2023, Harlow Studios' production of Wonderland was a definitive achievement due in the most part to Kate's artistic direction, choreographing, and stage design of this version of a beloved favorite, Alice in Wonderland. Her choreography and production skills were further brought to the limelight at the Bliss band launch, where she was asked to form a group of dancers to open the entire launch of costumes for the 2024 carnival season. As owner and director, Kate is looking forward to welcoming old and new students to the beautiful space created at Harlow Studios, where the joy of dance is evident every day. We welcome the lovely and inspiring director of Harlow Studios, Ng See Quan, to our purpose party.
Hi, hello.
Hi, Kate. Thank you so much for joining us.
Thank you for having me. I appreciate it.
Well, let's just dive right in.
Sounds good.
Why is Harlow Studios and the Harlow Studios experience so unique? What does Harlow Studios have to offer?
So I think Harlow Studios, I mean, if I take it back a little bit, dance has always been my passion and my drive behind me as a human being from the age of 7. And I guess after moving down here with my husband and our 2 children, I realized that there was a slight sort of difference in the way that it was taught, and ballet in particular. And down here, a lot of people tend to follow the RAD syllabus, whilst it's very good. I did a lot of my training in America, which allowed me to see how unset work works with children and pushing them at a different opportunity. So our lower school offers classes in ballet, contemporary, and hip hop from the age of 2.5 up. And from there, I then obviously have my adult classes, which we have ballet, contemporary, a flex and strengthening class, and obviously our pole fitness. So coupled with that, along with my Pilates clients in the morning, my schedule is rather packed on a day-to-day basis between Monday to Friday. So yeah, that's really what we do.
Alice in Wonderland production. Could you tell me a little bit about that?
Yeah, well, I decided to go ahead and throw myself into the deep end. I'm not sure what I was thinking, actually. And instead of just doing a recital, which is sort of, lots of individual pieces, I decided to run with an actual storyline and create, I guess, a storyline based on Alice in Wonderland. So it's not the exact version. So we had all of our lower school children in the production, and we had 2.5-year-olds on stage as bumblebees and ladybirds, and we had fairies, and we had teapots for the Mad Hatter's Tea Party and all sorts. But then we also had professional dancers playing the main cast of characters, which I had 9 of. And we performed at Napa back in May, which seems like an awfully long time ago, although also doesn't seem that long ago either. And we managed to almost sell out Napa, which is quite an achievement, I think. And I believe that we did something that was a little different. And we actually had a range of dance. Again, we did ballet, pole. We had a pole piece. My caterpillar was actually on the pole for
Wow.
the show. So she was amazing. One of my teachers, actually, Ariella. So she was my caterpillar, and I decided to put her into the production, which I thought was quite a cool thing to add something and to really showcase everything that Harlow Studios has to offer, from our children's classes up to adult classes. So whilst it was a long, hard slog of 6 months of organizing, by the end of it, it really did come out on top, which I was incredibly proud of, not only from my dancers, but you know, from the staff and my parents and all. I mean, everyone was so really very helpful, so it was great. So yeah, that was our first production, hopefully one of many, although I think I'm taking a little bit of a hiatus from a production until maybe next year. I need a little bit of a respite before going and delving back into that thing again.
Yes, definitely.
I mean, I've always been on stage, but I actually had never really produced anything of this proportion before. And so managing sort of, you know, our 100+ children, plus the, you know, the dancers and the rehearsals leading up to it with the costumes and the prop making, which my husband did the majority of. So I have to say thank you to him too. I was amazed. I actually didn't end up getting delivered divorce papers afterwards, to be fair.
Wow.
As he was on call and working backstage. I think that was the first time my husband was ever introduced into the world of dance.
Oh, that's so nice, but that's what you call a partnership.
Well, I mean, he didn't really have a choice at one point. I said, "You do this for me," and with graciousness he did. So I was very lucky in that sense.
Truly,
So,
truly very lucky. Kate, what moved you or inspired you or sparked your interest to get into dance production? Is it that there are not enough dance productions in Trinidad and Tobago?
dance productions, and obviously they're all really good. I think it's always nice to have something different as well, and to have a full-length production too, which allows a real classic. I mean, and that's why I chose Wonderland. And in fact, I chose Wonderland prior to COVID, and in fact, I had even started choreographing for the show before COVID. Thank goodness I managed to find some of the choreography that I had filmed, and I popped that straight back in there. But yeah, I mean, it's I mean, one, parents obviously want to see their kids on stage. Two, I think it's a nice challenge for me as well, because as a creative, that's what we're there to do. You know, our job as dancers is to be on stage and to show our creativity. And as a teacher, you obviously have to have a certain amount of creativity to build your classes on, and to create a fun atmosphere for learning and a conducive atmosphere to learn as well. And I think for me, it was really nice to finally allow my creative side to let loose, because sometimes I'm so focused on the business at times, and it doesn't allow me to shift into that creative side of things. So it was a really nice break. I mean, although really difficult and incredibly trying some days and exhausting as well. But I mean, to see everything that I kind of had this belief in, and I knew that once I could get everything sorted, I could make it what I wanted. And I think given the resources that we were sort of able to get into place, whilst I have a lot of work to do and I have a lot of other ideas that I'd love to bring in, you know, to me, Wonderland was really that first initial step into creating maybe something slightly different and a different stage production. So hopefully then, you know, as it becomes easier, the first time is always difficult, you know, because I
Yes.
didn't have a stage crew. I didn't know the lighting guys. I didn't know the music and how the sound systems worked. I didn't know, you know, so there's a huge amount of behind the scenes processes as well, not just the choreography and running the rehearsals and getting the mothers and fathers to pick up and drop off their kids. And you know, so it was a huge sort of learning curve for me too. So obviously a lot of notes were written down by the end of that show. You know, so hopefully in the future things will run a little bit smoother, and it won't sort of take it out of me quite so much. But I think anytime you run a production, by the end of it, you're absolutely destroyed. And I took a break after that for sure. I took a week off after that. I said, I don't want to deal with anything to do with Harlow for 1 week, and then I'll come back. And so said, so done. But yeah, I mean, to me, production is part of the creativity that allows me and what I love to do, you know, and to showcase that and to showcase our kids and our teachers and our professional dancers down here, which tend to get pushed aside a lot. You know, dance really isn't classified as a career down here. And I think it's really a shame because we do have so much talent in Trinidad. And I think our focus is always so highly on the academics. And whereas some people are just not meant to become a lawyer or an accountant or whatever, you know, some of us are meant to be creative and artists. And I think my goal as my studio and as studio owner is to try and create a space that allows that possible dream for a child to come true.
What advice do you have for persons who would like to enter into this sort of creative space and this career of dance?
I mean, there's so many parts of that, right? I mean, that could be an entirely separate conversation almost. I think the fact that we need to make it more accessible to everybody. So whilst, you know, there is a business aspect, you know, it is a business at the end of the day that I run. At the same time, you know, I do have some plans to kind of put into place that I'd like to start organizing a way of being able to create access to children that may not be able to be able to afford to come to classes, because it really is an expensive, I guess, after school activity, really, isn't it? But I think for, you know, dancers down here is to find a place that you feel confident enough to know that the teacher is always going to be there to help you. I think really it comes down to the mentorship of the teachers and who you surround yourself by. But I also think just learning in the education aspect that you can in fact audition online. You can in fact find places away. And once you've got the talent, then you can always go ahead and go and do it, whether it's online or now, obviously, to fly up and do auditions and stuff. And actually, they do send some talent scouts down here as well. But really and truly for me, you know, for my students in my school is to really try, and my goal, I guess, as a teacher and what my teachers are representative of me when they teach classes that I am not necessarily teaching. Obviously, my values carry over into them. And I've always sort of stated that, you know, everybody is to be treated on an even keel. There is no favoritism. There is no nothing. We base everything solely on the focus of the child. Now, with children, it's very different. Just like with my own children, they were brought up the same way and yet have ended up totally different to each other, both girls. You know, children learn at different rates, and their ability to focus may not come into play at a certain age, but they may just need a couple more years to get that focus. But in the meantime, if you put all your eggs in the basket of the one kid that focuses, they may end up not having that same kind of focus later on. So my goal is always to create a very nurturing environment on an even level to ensure that all kids feel like they have been given the same graces as everybody else in this studio. So if they were then to wanting to go off and start doing things abroad, that's when I will take a different interest and obviously try and help them along with their parents to help create the environment for them to go off and dance away.
Commend you again for what you're doing here and adding to our space in Trinidad and Tobago. Do you?
It's not been easy. It's not been an easy process, but you know, I guess my passion and my drive to really make a change is what keeps me going on the darker days. You know, on the days that I go, what are you doing, Kate? Really and truly, you're don't have a life, you don't even see your kids sometimes. You know, it is really purely my love for what I have always done, and I've always felt like I was meant to do as well, in some kind of very skewed way. That I was always meant to be in a studio, and I was always meant to do something like this and to try and make a change, no matter how small. I think one change for one child or one person can make all the difference. You know, we can't maybe change everything, but we can certainly make small changes.
Definitely, I agree. And speaking about change and transformation, do you feel that dance has been rehabilitative or healing in itself for you and for others?
Yeah, I mean, for me personally, on a personal level, when dance was taken away from me at 19 years old, that was soul destroying. And I mean, I disappeared from the dance world for quite some years, because unfortunately I had to have about 7, 8 surgeries on my pelvis, and actually my hips are very bad still. And so I'm not sure how many more years left I actually have to be able to dance myself anymore, unfortunately. So that has been a burden that I have carried, but yet being in dance, even as a teacher capacity, and I've been building myself up strength-wise through my own Pilates rehab that I give myself. Dance has always been my saving grace, so to speak. And I think for others, I think once you create a nurturing environment, whether for children or for adults, you create a safe space for them to feel okay. And I know for a fact, you know, with my pole ladies and guys now, we've got a couple of guys in the studio too now doing pole, you know, I've really tried and strived to find that safe space for all of us. I think as a foreigner, I've struggled in certain aspects, because my husband is Trinidadian. And so for me, when I moved down here, I didn't really have anybody, a couple of people or whatever. And Harlow has created this almost family as well for me. So whilst I may help others, I often say to people that, well, they've helped me too. Be able to find my own feet down in this country, which is, you know, there's a lot of close-knit groups and whatnot, and sometimes it's very difficult to find your own feet in a country that you're not from. And so Harlow really has become that safe space for Trinis as well as foreigners, i.e. me. Of a place where women just come, and it from all different backgrounds as well. And I think that's nobody knows each other, and yet there's this camaraderie that settles in down here. And even if you're not in the same class, you know, you'll see people passing, they're like, hey, how are you going? Yeah, good. How are you doing? You're good. You know, there's a really lovely there's just such a beautiful vibe here in a way. And I think that's out of everything, I think that's probably been my biggest accomplishment, is to create this space that has just been a happy environment for so many. I mean, obviously you can't please everybody, but you know, for the most part, I do my very best to ensure a beautiful environment to learn and to push yourself as a human being.
So, then would you say there's movement as a flow of energy in the revelry of carnival, of the Trinidad and Tobago carnival or carnival dancing? Do you feel that it has a significant part to play in Trinidad and Tobago being dubbed the happiest nation in the world?
I mean, yeah, I mean, come on, Carnival is Carnival. How could you not love Carnival? I mean, I've been playing Carnival for years and years and years now, even before we moved down to Trinidad, which was, oh my goodness, about 9 years ago now, I think. I think we moved down 2014. Yeah, we did. 2014, after 6 months after my second baby was born. And we moved down here. And but prior to that, we've always come down and played Carnival and come back and seen my husband's family and whatnot. And I mean, it ties through and through. Although we do tend to not play soca all the time at the studio. During carnival season, there definitely starts becoming a little bit more jumpy up and whatnot, towards the final few weeks of leading up to carnival. I mean, and Trinidadians love to dance. I mean, there's rhythm everywhere in Trinidad. I mean, whether it's pan, whether you've got, you've soca, there's so many beautiful things and music and men can dance. There's not many nations on earth that I think that you can have male and female have such fluidity in their movement, which is why I think truly Trinidad must have some serious talent hiding somewhere.
It's in our DNA.
Yeah, I think so. I think it must be, along with the rum maybe as well.
Yes. Oh, definitely, definitely. Oh my gosh. So, Kate, I want to jump into our Think Fast segment.
Right.
So there are 5 quick questions that are really
Oh
just
dear.
meant to be for just some fun.
Okay. Right.
Okay, so let's go. What's a duck's favorite ballet?
What's the favorite
What's a
ballet?
duck's favorite ballet?
Swan Lake.
We can go with Swan Lake and we can also go with Nutcracker.
Oh, I am the worst in jokes. I just wanted
No,
to
I
know
think
that. But I got that one. I like that. Okay, what is the duck's favorite ballet? Nutcracker. Okay, got it.
To travel with a purpose, what does that mean to you?
Travel with a purpose. I mean, I think anything to do with adventure. Travel with a purpose. Go do something. Go do something different. Go and travel and try something new and take yourself out of your comfort zone. That's what it would be.
Leotard or unitard?
Oh, neither.
Okay. Tourists visiting Trinidad should not leave without.
Trinidad. Tasting doubles.
Oh, 100%, 100%.
Right? Come on. Come on, have sauce back in the suitcase team. Yeah.
Why did the ballerina give up on finding her shoe?
Oh my God, this is another joke. I'm terrible at this stuff. Why did she give up finding the other shoe? I don't know, but I have a feeling it's going to make me laugh. Tell me, why did the ballerina give up on finding her other shoe?
It was pointless.
See, it was pointless.
Yeah, so pointless.
Okay, I like that. I like this too, Tanya.
So I just want to say congratulations, Kate, and
Thank you.
wishing you all the best on Harlow Studios and
But now
the
you
best.
need to come to the studio.
Oh yes,
We need to
yes.
get you in the studio.
In a unitard or a leotard, anyone.
Whichever one you want, my love. Whichever one you would like, I would be more than happy to welcome you into my studio with.
They can contact you, they can get in touch, they can reach out to you, and they can take a class and do something different at Harlow Studios TT.
And it's the same our website as well, just with a .com at the end. Absolutely, absolutely. Always welcoming new people into the studio is one of my greatest things. So yeah, everyone is always welcome, no matter what.
Thanks so much for partying with us. And until next time, take care of yourself and look out for each other. Bye.
Bye.